We are Fortnite gamers, mobile players, paywall haters, entertainers, hot as lasers. Tell your neighbor, do a favor, you should subscribe, and you'll see more. Knightlightning, he's not lightning, so enlightening, not so frightening. Hit like, and you'll see more. Who farted? He's who farted, not faint-hearted, nor outsmarted. Let's get started.
Welcome to Fortnite Gamers. I am Knightlightning.
And I am WhoFartd.
Today we are going to be discussing the next meta that will soon be coming to Disney Sorcerer's Arena. And no, we're not talking about Beast. We're not talking about Belle. We are talking about the character that many players are actually getting very close to unlocking. And that is this bad girl right here, the Queen of the Seas, Ursula.
So we all know that Ursula's kit is beyond broken. Even her, let's call it light version that her playable character has is OP. I think that it's pretty clear that she's going to be a key part of the meta very, very soon. There are certain clubs that already have 100 shards of her. So unlocking her is 3 more runs away for some of these Disney Titans level clubs. Now, while I'm assuming the other clubs haven't cheated to get to her this quickly, but I'm assuming everybody else can hang their hat on that they legitimately acquiring her.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a lot to unpack here. Here's what I look at. When I look at Ursula's kit, what we have to focus on, and I know there's a lot of great characters that have come out recently. People are focusing on Belle and Beast. A lot of people are focusing on the twosome of, say, Maurice and Dash. And I'm not saying they're wrong too, because that particular combination is crazy. But it's undeniable that very soon, Ursula is going to be hitting PvPs in Sorcerer's Tournament. So there's no reason for us to wait, for us to start coming up with potential teams that are really going to take over. And here's the main man I really think is going to work extremely well with Ursula. Crazy old Maurice. Now, everybody's talking about this guy because his theory crafting potential is fantastic. There's a lot of cool things you can do. But here's the thing you have to keep in mind. First of all, as opposed to what some other content creators have said recently, his fixed up in no time ability does not work with shadows, summon shadows. These only work with originally created summons. So if we look at this, target teammate gets a helpful effect, depending whether you're offense, defense, or support. But the main thing is here, if the target is summoned, spawn a copy of that character. Like I just said, this does not work with shadows. So if we're looking at maximizing Maurice's abilities, we're looking for either characters that can exploit the offense, defense, or support piece, or a summoned character that has tremendous value that is worth doing. In what situation is Dash not the optimal target of this ability? Ursula is the answer, or more specifically, a part of Ursula is the answer. So Ursula, right at the beginning of battle, summons Flotsam and Jetsam. And when Flotsam and Jetsam deal damage to an opponent, they're purging a random helpful effect. And if the purged effect is not taunt, they're gaining a copy of that effect. And they're granting a copy to allied Ursula. So let's say the person has offense up or haste. They're purging that effect. They're getting that offense up or haste. And Ursula's getting offense up or haste. In addition to that, Ursula is gaining 20% speed meter. And this only goes up as you level up her ability. So when I read this, I say, I want Flotsam and Jetsam to attack people as often as possible, because it's not only going to make them stronger by stealing effects, it's not only going to make Ursula stronger by stealing effects, but it's going to make her go fast. This is screaming to me that Flotsam and Jetsam are likely the best targets of that special ability of Maurice. Because imagine you have 2 instances now of Flotsam and Jetsam. Each are purging random helpful effects, granting them to those copies, and each grabbing to Ursula. And each instance is still a 20% speed meter. And keep in mind, Maurice is basic. If these are the only summoned characters on the field, are guaranteed to call them to assist, or at least one of them. So that you're talking in one full turn. If you have, let's just say, one instance of a copied Flotsam and Jetsam plus Maurice, in a full turn, you are artificially giving Ursula 60% speed meter. You're well on your way to giving her a full additional turn.
Okay. So let's jump in right on her passive, which she has many of, but grasping tendrils. So if we go by the fact that she's going to be taking a lot more turns, just in the passive, which is completely unavoidable, meaning guaranteed to happen, she's inflicting silence on a random opponent. So if she's taking 2 turns for every one of your teammates, that means there's a more than 40% chance, because I'm assuming that she'll actually be taking more than 2 turns if you really optimize Maurice. There's more than a 40% chance that your character has silence that's going to be taking the next turn. That's a game changer. Then you level up her abilities, and you have the 30% chance to steal 1 magic charge. And with Maurice's, that's potentially doubled. So you have 2 chances to roll the dice and essentially steal a magic charge. That's game changer. That shuts down a team. That means more than likely 2 of your best characters either can't do their, well, sorry, I even take that back. Let's figure out the math. Roughly your characters have a 50% charge of chance of not being able to do their special. When you figure in 2 times of having the 30% chance to steal a magic charge, if that one was charged up, and adding in the fact that the silence for 2 characters, you just shut down a team no matter who they are. Like, even if you're running the Mega Man teams of Big Heroes 6 teams, you just shut them down.
Yeah, because people depend on, let's say, starting baymax to eat up those, to have that taunt, so you can't shut down the other side characters. But that's why I think this kit is intentionally designed to go around that, because it's on a random opponent. And the reason this is so much better than picking your opponent in the current meta is so you can't get stuck behind a taunt. Because if you were picking your target, and let's say Baymax is taunting, you can't pick, let's say, Honey Lemon or Beast or somebody else. This is getting around taunt. Now, let me ask you this. She has this passive called Vengeance. So the first time, and look and read this again, this is glue, so who knows? We don't know how strictly we can take language. Okay? But the first time an allied, Flotsam or Jetsam, is defeated, or this character's health is reduced below 50% of max, she's going to cleanse all harmful effects from herself and inflict blind on all opponents for a turn and gained empowered. And crazy stuff happens when she's empowered. So here's the cool thing. You might want to copy Flotsam and Jetsam with Maurice, just so you have a weaker Flotsam and Jetsam to get killed off, so this ability triggers faster. You might be able to get Ursula empowered first turn in a way you would not normally be able to, by creating an artificially loser version of Flotsam and Jetsam, because they're only at a small percentage of the strength of the typical version. This could be, wasn't it the old Obi-Wan Kenobi sacrifice squads from Star Wars days?
I never really played that team. Like, that was not my thing. But I know what you mean. It's not far off from it.
Yeah, I mean, essentially, it's creating a character designed to be killed. And the faster you get that, you can have your own character killed off, the more your whole team is ramped up. Because in Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, when old Ben was first out, people would have him at like level 1 and stick him in a team, have him taunt, and when he dies, the rest of your team gets all these crazy bonuses. So you'd almost want a weaker version of that character because he was better dead than alive.
Oh, I'm remembering that now. Yeah, because I'm thinking the General Kenobi, and I'm like, no, he was a badass. Like, why would you want him killed off? No, this is old Ben you're talking about.
Yes, exactly.
Because you'd throw the Force taunt on, and then like that would force you to kind of go after him.
So WhoFartd, Sea Witch's Reign. Separately, oceanic teammates and villain teammates are going to get big bonuses. I mean, the villain teammate bonus is like insane how big this thing is. But what characters come to mind when you read this?
Well, honestly, right off the bat, I thought, and this was before I really dived into this, I immediately thought of Captain Hook being potentially useful for the first time. But the more I went through his kit, I go, yeah, there's no human way. So then I came to the most logical conclusion of the character that would most benefit from this. And it's clearly Madame Mim.
Oh, stop trolling.
So
stop trolling me.
Follow me on this. Madame Mim is hot garbage.
Well, she will get the villain bonus. She will.
Which makes her, with the villain bonus, slightly less hot garbage. So that's why I say she gains the most benefit out of anyone. It takes her out of the crap pile and moves her into smells kind of funky, let's stay away pile, which, it's a big movement with how terrible she is.
All right. But seriously, who was your go-to with that leadership?
Davy Jones is the first one that I thought of to benefit, because I think Davy Jones, as people are just about 7-starring him, he's a phenomenal character, and he has the ability to spawn more oceanic villains additionally.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
Alone, you're going to get both advantages, more characters to pop out, so you're not just having the Flotsam and Jetsam as additional characters to be out on the board. And every time he gets killed off, now that he's got that short shot clock for coming back to life, most people won't have enough time to focus on killing him off because of Ursula, that he'll just keep popping up on the board. So I think he's got major benefit.
That's interesting. Like when I read Oceanic Villain, my go-to, only because the guy hits so hard. So I think the team might involve him, because this Galactic Armada ability, once you get it, you can start spamming it, and it gives all Oceanic teammates tactics. The interesting thing with tactics and Ursula lies in her basic ability, the Undoing. So if you constantly giving tactics to Ursula through Gantu's ability, once she's empowered, she's going to deal damage, and at level 2, you are stealing 10% speed meter. And that is guaranteed once she has tactics. So as soon as Gantu starts getting that Galactic Armada up, she's stealing it. But not only that, once she's empowered, and we just figured out a really kind of cheap way to copy Flotsam and Jetsam to get her empowered, because if there's like a strong AoE, like an Elsa on the other side or Dash, that character's getting kills. Ursula can definitely get empowered very quickly using Maurice's ability first turn. This is going to attack twice. So with tactics and empowered, Ursula's basic, the ability you could spam the most often, is going to be stealing 20% speed meter. Now, we had just spoke about a methodology of gaining her 60% within a full turn. And now she on her own, if empowered, can gain 20%. So she's going to be ramping up really fast. And you got to keep in mind, this is not just gaining speed meter. This is stealing it. So not only is Ursula getting faster, your opponents are getting slower.
Along with this, she's got a special move, the Poor Unfortunate Soul, in which, similar to other moves, is unavoidable and inflicts polymorph on the target, transforming them into a polymorph for 1 turn. And on top of it, the ability has a 100% bonus potency. And if she's already empowered, it reduces the target's speed meter by 30%. So For any of those that don't remember, Polymorph is that ability that we saw that the voodoo dude Facilier can do, where he turns one of your players into a frog. Well, she turns him into that weird newt-like plant. But not only is this the basis, but then if you get to the end result, she purges 2 helpful effects and gains a copy of the purged effect and not taunt, which means that she's gaining the best potential for her kit, and she's getting she's throwing out additional defensive reductions on the polymorph character. So essentially, this character is just, I know we're trying to be PC, but there's really a way I want to describe this. But let's go with the term screwed over royally in the process. So this is a huge move. Then when you add in other characters' abilities tied to this, it's going to be even more crazy.
Well, here's the thing. Like, Beast is an amazing tank, partly because he gets so much tenacity and he's so hard to take down. But if your character who's targeting Beast has 100% potency, he's not going to be able to withstand that. So even Beast, who is going to be taunting, very likely, if you're facing him, he's going to be polymorphed, even with Enchanted Rose and all this other stuff going on. Beast's ability to gain other bonuses for himself are actually going to work against him, because those are going to go right to Ursula. So it's weird, even though Beast, technically speaking, has come out after Ursula, Ursula's kit almost seems partly designed to attack Beast. Beast also is partly designed to attack Ursula, because he's going to be gaining some benefits of... He's going to be gaining half the benefits of Ursula gaining speed. But keep in mind, if Ursula's not just gaining speed, but reducing a character's speed, Beast's artificial gain in speed is going to be offset by Ursula's ability to whittle down her opponent's speed meter. So even though Beast is going to be gaining speed, if he's a target of, say, some of these basic abilities and some of these other things, it's just going to get knocked down again. So he's not going to be making that many meaningful gains anymore.
And remember, while he's polymorphed, he's not going to be getting those gains, because that gets stripped out of his character during that time period too.
Yeah, he's not going to be doing anything meaningful at all.
Now imagine if you can time that polymorph and back it up with somebody like Facilier, so that way you're just going back-to-back polymorphs.
That'd be nasty. And
exactly.
Well, the interesting thing too, Facilier might play a part, because even though he's not going to take advantage of the leadership so much, because he doesn't deal offensive damage. But if I wanted to, like we said, artificially empower Ursula, once I make that copy of Flotsam and Jetsam, I use Facilier's taunt and just throw a taunt over him. Yep, you're guaranteed to get empowered now.
It's
Ursula will get
way
sped
to do
up.
It. Yep.
I was thinking
That's really good.
Yeah, I was thinking too. Chunk might. This might be a little crazy, but Chunk might play a part, because he taunts. So you're gonna have it. You need a tank in there somewhere to draw fire away from Ursula. But he also has the ability to extend the duration of a random harmful effect. So if Beast is polymorphed, Chunk can just extend that for an extra turn. And if you have Ursula's basic ability, here's a question. I mean, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm not even sure Chunk is that necessary. After using Poor Unfortunate Soul on a target, you're reducing their speed meter, so they're less likely to gain a turn, even though it's lasting for one turn. But look at this. If Ursula's empowered, and let's say you're gaining tactics, you could spam her removing 20% speed meter from that target and increasing her speed again to give her more opportunities for basic. So you have a situation of how are we going to use Ursula? Well, maybe we'll turn the nasty target into a polyp, which is guaranteed to happen because it's 100% potency. but also just keep using your basic, because if she keeps stealing speed meter, she gets to get more turns, keep using the basic again. And each time removing speed meter, that one turn can last a long time.
So I think this leads to speculation also that there'll be more, even though we've got a ton, that there's more incoming oceanic villains. I think it's fair to speculate that Captain Barbossa should be incoming soon.
Yeah.
Now, I am very much excited that Barbossa should be incoming very soon. And as much as our fake news is out there, I think this may be one of the rare times where our fake news is spot on with what's really happening. So for all you people out there who are screaming, we're trolls, we're coming up with fake characters, I can't tell the difference between Woody with a mustache being real or fake. This is a potentially a real one, so you can stop your whining for like 24 hours.
Well, in our defense, we've had a few predictions come out recently. Triton come in, we did Triton, we did Ursula. Still pulling for Jessica Rabbit. That would be pretty fun.
I don't know. Hobo Jafar, still tried and true. I think that's what we should definitely be holding our breath for.
He's our real number one. But yeah, I think,
gotta ask one question before we go on. It is clear that Ursula wears a ton of eyeshadow, because I'm assuming that not just above her eyes is blue. But how does she apply it if she's underwater? Like, there's waterproof mascara and things like that. But, like, that would all smudge up, like 1, 2, 3. You go swimming, it comes out. How does that last on her?
Well, that is where the new Olay deals come in.
It makes sense. It's cross-promotion at its best.
Exactly.
It's Disney and Olay, optimizing their platforms.
Exactly right.
What's next? There's going to be the underwater, fully waterproof Manscaped Lawnmower 4.0.
Oh, that's too funny. Well, here's what I'm thinking. Ursula is referencing oceanics and villains, and thereby oceanic villains. And like somewhere between mid-February to mid-March is Pisces season. So I think that would be an amazing time for Barbossa. So we're going to call it right here. We're going to say Barbossa is coming to this game sooner rather than later, and will be part of the next meta.
So then our last character that I think needs to be considered, just because, first off, he's a butt kicker. He's standalone. He's amazing. He does a massive amount of damage. Now that we've also found out that his tier 8, he now has a higher crit chance, which is insane to begin with. Now you add in Ursa's lead, which adds 15% for offensive characters. So, and Maurice's ability to make him essentially always crit. You now have Zurg critting every single time, plus doing 15% more offense, having 50% more offense on top of it. So he's chaining attacks, just destroying people, critting every single time, and doing 15% more damage. He doesn't even have to take advantage of the fact that he's not oceanic. But if I'm a team, I'd throw him in the bathtub and start doing insane damage.
Yeah, it's insane. Ursula has so many passive abilities at this point that even if you're silencing her or doing all this stuff, those passives now work through silence due to the update. And Fairy Slumber also doesn't affect passives anymore. So there's so many go-to spells and go-to methods of shutting down other teams that are just, for Ursula specifically, are just not going to do anything, because she has so many things built in that are just built to make other villains and oceanic stronger, as well as just start silencing the other team just by standing there and taking turns.
So I've got to say, we hit a milestone this week. We hit the big 100 subscribers. Some said it couldn't be done, but we did it. Thank you, everyone who subscribed. Even if you got trolled to subscribe because you thought Ron Stash Woody was coming, I will slightly lay off the jokes on how gullible you are because you helped us reach 100 subscribers. And I calculated this. At this rate, we will hit 1,000 subscribers by the time Knightlightning and I turn 40. So we got that going for us,
God,
which is
terrible.
nice.
And we're not that old. That's terrible.
Hey, look, I said by the time. So, actually, it would probably be like 39 when it happens in a couple months.
That's
and
awesome.
Being that I'm 1 month older, I'll be turning 40 first. So,
Exactly. Thank you, everyone who is subscribed to the channel. For those of you who are not, make sure you hit like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications.
Come on. At the very least, help us get to 1,000 before we turn 40. That puts the over-under at 4 years. Let's see if we can do this.
Have a great night, everyone.